So co-ops just aren't workers' co-ops. There's a whole range of different types of co-ops. You can have producer co-ops. You can have consumer co-ops. You can have housing co-ops. So they're many and varied. It's really just based on what the needs of the members are. So there's famous co-ops around like RACQ, that's a car club, but it's also a co-op. Norco is a famous dairy co-op. And there's also mutual, the Australian Super's a member-owned super fund, and that's a mutual, which is very similar to a co-op. Another co-op that many of our members are involved in that they developed, it's a housing co-op, which is a highly successful small co-op which addressed the issues of homelessness and high rents for people with a disability. And now this little co-op is entirely managed by board members with a disability. They buy in support from a housing worker. They purchase their own units out of rents they've collected over the years, and they don't have arrears. They have excellently maintained properties, and they don't receive any ongoing government funding. So this really just is an example or an exercise we go through with people who might be interested in starting their own co-op. It takes about 15 minutes. First of all, you start with a need. So you consider a need in your community or a need that your members might have, and you need a number of people to start a co-op. You cannot start one on your own. And you get together with this group of people and you decide, what is your purpose? What's the purpose that's going to drive you? What's the reason you exist? The second part of this is to look at your primary activities. So what are you going to do? What services are you going to offer to your members? How do you generate income to pay for those services? So that's your primary activities. Then you look at the third thing is you look at what your active membership requirements are. So co-ops are a two-way street. So you get something back, but you also have to give something to keep it running. So what are you going to ask of your members? Do they need to volunteer? Do they need to pay a fee? What is their obligation to the co-op? The fourth thing is, how will you make decisions? So co-ops are of course democratically run. You cannot get around that in a co-op, but there's different ways of structuring that. So all the decisions can be made by everybody, or you can have some decisions that are made by the members and delegate other decisions to staff and whatnot. So you need to decide on your structure and how that's going to work best for you and your members. And the final thing is you might look at what your culture's like. So co-ops are enshrined in co-op principles are a care for the community. So co-ops need to have some expression of that. And also co-ops need to educate their members about cooperativism and about their engagement in the co-op. So if you don't engage around culture building in co-ops, you're going to lose the cooperative culture. So you need to decide and think and look at how you're going to do that. What are the key things to do if you're looking at starting a co-op? What do you reckon, Ben?
Well, find where there's a need.
Find where there's a need, absolutely. So you need to really identify a need that's going to bring people together. And you need those people. That you can't start a co-op on your own. It's all about relationship building. So a very famous, very big cooperative called Mondragon from the Basque area of Spain, the relationship building they did before they even looked at starting a co-op was actually based around soccer. So the guy who helped start this co-op got people playing soccer. Now that might seem, pretty mundane, but they were coming out of that. They were coming out of the Civil War in Spain. There was a lot of tension between people in this area, and this guy got them together playing soccer. So they're looking at relationship building, team building, just getting to know each other. So that was a very important part in that process, and now that cooperative is a huge, I think, billion-dollar company. Billion-dollar cooperative. It's not a company. From little things, big things grow. So relationship building's a key thing. As Bernard said, you've got to define what your need is. And then the other thing probably that we'd suggest you start doing is just those people start to experiment with what they think will be a response to their problem. Start to engage in trying to fix that problem. So for us, it was, before we got onto mowing large parks and looking after the streetscape in Nunda, it was just mowing people's backyards with a borrowed lawnmower. But getting people active and engaged in something and learning about how to conduct their business. It was a critical thing for us, I think. Yeah. Well, thanks for listening to our web presentation on the story of the Nunda Co-op. If you want to go to a great website full of information, check out, there's a section on resources that'll come up after this, but there's a website called Get Mutual, and it has a series of case studies, one of which is the Nunda Co-ops, and also some slides on how to build a co-op. So that goes through how to start a co-op in some more detail, and there's some more technical information that is probably of use to people who are interested in exploring this model a bit more. We've basically told our story. We love what we do. We think it's a great model for business and a great model for empowerment. Ben, you got
it helps people with intellectual disabilities become a team, and the staff are great. And so, as I said, if you're over in Nunda, please come in and join us.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah.